Hi, it's Mark here again to show you a quick tip on how to bevel an edge manually. It's not a feature within Probuilder, but you can easily achieve it manually. I'm just going to delete this object and we'll create a new cube like so. And what we'll do, we'll go on to edge selection. You can see there's a sharp edge here for this particular edge, so if you want to try and smooth this off, we can keep a shift or control key down whilst left clicking on the keyboard, and then Alt and E creates a line like so. We'll do another one here, so Alt E, and we'll do the same down here like so, Alt E. Now what we've got is some equal distance lines. We want to bring them closer to the edge to try and start the smoothing process. So what we want to do, we want to move these closer, and we want to be a bit more definite in exactly how far we're moving it. I mean, I could move them over, and that's not a problem. Control Z to go back, but I like to be a bit more careful. And so we can use the increment snapping, and the way you do that, as you can see this item up here, all you have to do is put it in a particular measurement. Now this is 1 meter, each side is 1 meter, as you can see there, it says it. So what we want to do, we want to change that. If I put that number to 1, that's 1 meter. So if I said 0.1, that's a tenth of a metre, which is 10 centimetres. In this particular case, we'll do 5 centimetres. I hope that makes sense. So the way to move it specifically is to keep the control key down, left click, highlight it like so, and it comes along at 5 centimetre intervals. Do the same here. Move that quite fast because it's only going to come up nice and even like so. So we'll do the same here, and you can see that I'm bringing these in to a nice equal distance. So then we can start doing maybe the control key down and start moving these down to smooth off, but all that's going too far, isn't it? So Control Z, go back to here, and you can do this with anything. When you're completing something, just alter the values just slightly. So let's be very small, which is 1 centimetre at a time. And I'm going to highlight each corresponding line like so. I'm going to bring this over 2 and then bring this down 2. Each time, as I mentioned before, I keep the control key down whilst moving it. Now if you look at the edge closely there, it's not quite what I wanted. So what we'll do, you can see it's not that rounded. It's better than it was, but you can see now I've moved this around and these distances look a little bit different, don't they? So I'll move this one across like so, possibly up. That might be too far, but we'll see. Try and make sure when you move these lines, you move them in the same way for both. Because if you start moving lines and they're not the same, so you move this line and you don't move it the same way, say one across and up or one across down or whatever, and do the same here, you start to get confused. This doesn't look quite right, so I'm going to keep the control key down and move this along like so, and that one down like so. That means that this then has to come down, and this comes down like so. So you can see that you can just mess around with it a little bit, and then eventually you can eye it up. You know that it's equal distance because we're using the increment tool, going 1 centimetre at a time. But you can still eye it up at the same time, but you're not eyeing it up and then looking at it visually and going, oh, that looks okay, and then you realise it was actually not symmetrical. Now if I wanted to put a colour onto here, I'd say, oh yes, that's a lot smoother, but you can see the line, especially when the light's shining off it. Not good. So what we do, we go on to face selection, we highlight all of these sides, making sure that the select hidden is off, so I don't select anything behind it. So I don't select any of these either, just these particular ones. Then we can go to the smoothing, and that smooths off the edges. Now you can go right up to 23, 24, but you can, if you just press 18 and then close that, look how smooth that looks. And when the light's shining off it, doesn't it look lovely? And that is how to smooth off an edge. You can do that on any edges anywhere. Hope that helps. I'll be producing some more tutorials as time goes on. Hopefully you can subscribe and help and encourage me to produce more. Thanks very much. Bye.